Hello dumplings, thank you for joining me for this video. This is not going to be the easiest video that I've ever made. Certainly it also won't be the hardest video I've ever made. I think the gold medal for hardest video I've ever made was back in early March when I announced the unexpected and tragic death of my much loved younger brother. That was really hard to talk about. It was hard to put my thoughts and emotions together enough to talk about that. And of course, that was only just a very, very small slice of what I have been through and continue to go through. It was really, really hard to make. But this one is not going to be easy to make either. I have had to mentally and emotionally buckle up just to get to the point of facing camera. So I suggest you buckle up too, because if it's not going to be easy to make, it's probably not going to be easy to listen to and watch. But I think it's really important for me at this point, and it feels right at this point, to add a little bit more insight and a little bit more information to the announcement that I made in March. Just talk to you guys a little bit about where I am now, and some of the experiences that I've had. This is also just a very, very small slice of what it is that I have been through. Not only because I've never been someone to share hugely something that I'm going through in the moment on my channel or in my social media. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I share about my mental health, or I share about things that are going on in my life. But quite often I'm very private, especially when it concerns other people in my life. I try to be very respectful of their right to privacy. You know, it's not just all about me. I have other people in my reality and they deserve protection. They didn't choose this life. They didn't choose the YouTube life and the public life, you know. But I'm also going to I'm also going to be unable to share some of what I've been going through with you, because it just defies language. Honestly, there is no way that I can explain to you some of what I've been feeling, experiencing, because language just does not cut the bereavement mustard, my darlings. And anybody watching this who has been bereaved of somebody incredibly close to them, someone whose every atom was just so dear to you, you will understand what I mean when I say that words just aren't gonna even go halfway towards explaining what I'm going through. But I'm gonna share what I can, because I feel like now's the time. I want to start by expressing my gratitude to so many of you who have said such wonderful, lovely, beautiful, consoling things to me during this hideous time in my personal life. So many people have just left wonderful comments on Facebook and the community tab when I gave the update a few days ago on how I'm doing, and so many people underneath the video back in March left lovely comments too. People have sent me packages, people have sent me condolence letters to my PO box. I really appreciate all of that so much. I really do. I mean, it's overwhelming in a way that I'm grateful for. So I want to say thank you to that. I want to say thank you for that. I want to say thank you to you for that. There we go. This is hard. It's hard to construct sentences. But I also want to say that I knew from the beginning, as soon as I, came out and said, I've lost my brother in this terrible way, and, my heart is broken and I'll never be the same. I knew in that moment that the internet is open season. Okay, anyone can say whatever butt fuck crazy thing comes into their minds. And for some reason, they do not seem to consult their heart before they connect their brain to their fingers and start typing out some buck wild shit. And that's happened to me on a few occasions since losing my brother. It's a real shame, but it comes with the territory. I've always had to deal with weirdness, fuckery and trolling since I started out on this journey. It's a professional hazard, and frankly, if that's one of the worst things I've got to worry about during the course of my day, then I am very, very lucky. So I've always just taken this as part of the territory. But when you've lost someone who is so unbelievably dear to you, so fucking close to you, who understood you beyond words, and who always just brought so much light and love and positivity into your world, when you've lost someone in that way and people say buck wild shit, it's not something that it's that easy to process. I don't mind people saying things like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you talk too much, you know, just like whatever, just things people say. I think you're lying about having a relationship with hell. You know, you're going to go to hell. Hell with one L in the first example, hell with two L's in the second. All these things, whatever. Like I've read some pretty nasty things in my time. I actually have a folder on my laptop with some of the nastiest things that I have received that have been, you know, somewhat jarring. I've got quite a thick skin for this kind of thing because I believe in what I do and I believe in what I'm saying, and people don't have to watch it if they don't want to. They don't have to buy a reading or session from me if they don't want to. So, you know, it's jarring on a, you know, in a low, it's low level jarring. It's not jarring in a way that's going to upset the rest of my day. I just don't allow it to. But I do have a folder on my computer with some of the most like scathing things people have said. I find it interesting. And I find it interesting what people feel moved to say. And I also find it interesting what bothered me. But nothing bothers me, you know, even 100th of how it bothers me to be trolled now. Just to give you an example, the other day, I wrote a update on my community tab and on Facebook and in my Instagram stories and on Twitter. So across my platforms, I wrote an update saying, you know, thank you for your kindness during this really difficult time, my work and the support of everybody and, you know, being able to sleep. These are the things that have kept me going, you know, that have kept me sane during this painful time. And I will share more when I feel I'm ready. And I remember like I was scrolling through the comments underneath that post in the YouTube community tab 2 days ago. And someone in the comments had written, "You're such a drama queen." You're such a drama queen. And I read it and it was quite late at night. So it wasn't like I could just immediately go to someone and be like, look at this fucked up shit this person just wrote to me. Underneath an update about how I'm dealing with the death of my brother. So I was just sort of sat there alone at like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, looking at this. And I was saying to myself, look, just treat it like any other piece of bullshit. Just that's how you're going to have to think of it. But I think the reason it stressed me out so much was I thought to myself, what is it like? Tell me what it's like to be so fucking spiritually defunct that you would write something like that to someone who's just lost their brother. I just want to know what it's like. Tell me, give me a day in the life. Give me an understanding of life from your perspective. Let me be a tourist in your reality for a moment because I'm gripped. It's fascinating to me that that's who you are. You know what? I deleted it. I deleted it before actually clocking the person's username. So that was probably not a good idea. But you know what? If somebody wants to come back and say some buck wild shit and you've blocked them, they will make another account so they can say their buck wild shit to you. Because some people, you know, really do need help and they're not seeking it out or receiving it. But that kind of thing, when you feel as personally vulnerable as I do at this moment, when you're working through something so life-shattering, so paradigm altering, that kind of thing can really mess with you. And that's why I have not been very forthcoming about what I'm going through. That is why I'm not vlogging about it. That is why I'm not talking about it. It's stuff like that. I have also had a very small handful of people presuming to tell me what has happened to my brother now, where he is, that he's been in touch with them, that he's already reincarnated into the body of XYZ person. No. First of all, I really, really hope that anyone who has sent me anything like that is not a professional reader or spiritual mentor or spiritual helper of any variety. And if any of you are watching this and you have sent me something like that, trying to tell me that you've spoken to my brother and he has a message for me, or you know that he's downloaded already into another body, if you're watching this and you know that you are selling readings or sessions, stop it right now. Stop it right now. You don't have the minerals. You are not fit for the job that you are presuming yourself capable of doing. Because that is out of line. If somebody has paid you to tell them what has happened to their deceased loved one, fine, it's fair game, have at it, ride that gravy train with biscuit wheels. But don't you dare go to someone who hasn't asked for that insight and give it to them. And P.S., it's not insight, it's bullshit, because you didn't know my brother from a hole in the wall. I knew him very, very deeply. He spoke to me about death and I spoke to him about death. My brother was a very practiced astral traveller when he had his physical body. He was an intensely spiritual man, a yogi and a yoga instructor, all that good shit. And he already had said that he knew what was going to happen to his spirit once he died. He gave us the information while he was still in his human body. So close but no cigar. You're wrong. You're miles out. Don't ever presume that I need you to tell me anything about my dead brother. Don't you dare. I told you this was going to get real, guys. Jump cut because I need a break already. I've also been dealing with some lesser offences, you know, just things that weren't helpful, weren't suitable, weren't appropriate. Someone said to me the other day that I've lost what I've lost so that something much better can come into my life. What? I know some people just give it the word salad routine because they don't know what to say. Maybe they've never been through anything like this, so they don't know what was helpful to them. I don't know, but my brother has not left the scene so something better can come into my life. You know, very shortly before my brother died, I posted a meme on my Facebook page that said something like, there isn't a deep and meaningful reason for everything. Some things are just shit. Some things happen and they're just shit. And that was some major foreshadowing. I also posted about, was it 2 weeks before? It wasn't long before my brother died. I also posted on Instagram, sending love, compassion and empathy to people who have lost somebody. And that, again, was a bit of foreshadowing. And the photograph for it was my hand holding some flowers that were in a vase with a skull face on it. So much foreshadowing. And if I told you about the sheer amount of foreshadowing that there has been, you would be stunned. And if I told you about the incredible synchronicities that I and my brother's friends, my brother's girlfriend, my mum have experienced since he died, that also would astound you. That has been super trippy, but I'm not going to talk about those things. And I likely will never talk about those things because it's intensely personal and it is not wise to get too deeply, intensely personal about a wave that you are still very much riding. When it's open season for anyone to come in and just say any fucked up shit or any inconsiderate shit or any just plain inappropriate or just hurtful shit that comes to mind. You know, so it's self-protection, it's self-preservation. The videos that I've put out since my brother's death have been about the usual shit that I talk about: spirituality, personal development, tarot. That's my wheelhouse. Those are my wheelhouses, baby cakes. And it is incredibly soothing to get into video making mode and just enjoy talking about those subjects because I always have enjoyed talking about them. And it's kind of a mental holiday for me. It feels good, you know, just like it feels good to get back to work. It feels good to work with clients. It feels good to listen to them about their stories. It feels great to sling cards for people. You know, this is part of my healing journey, is to stay connected to what I feel truly passionate about, my specialist subjects, the things that fill me with joy. And perhaps it's been odd for some people to see that I have not posted an update until now and I've not really spoken about my brother. But hopefully this will give you more of an understanding of why that is. You know, you have to be so careful with yourself. You have to be so careful with yourself anyway, whatever the weather. But when you also have a public platform, you shouldn't be messing around with personal information and personal grief, because some people will take that and run with it and make it all about them. And yeah, they'll use it to score ego points or to have that special feeling that they get from knocking somebody down when they're already on the floor. It's a jungle out there. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder why I keep from going under. It's a mantra for our times. I remember my friend Regina Sewell said that is a modern mantra, and she's so right. So yeah, how am I feeling? Do I even want to continue with this video, or should I just leave it at that? My little rant. No, let me talk a bit more. Look, here's the situation, my loves, at the moment. I have therapy. I've had a therapist for a couple of years now. It's very useful to have that slot every Friday where I talk about the things I need to talk about, and that's been a great help. I have a good relationship with my mother, as you guys know, and I've been supporting her and she's been supporting me. I've been using every tool in my spiritual kit since this happened. I've been praying a lot. As I said, in relation to, foreshadowing, there was an immense amount of foreshadowing that I now see as I see now as I look back, all these weird random things that were almost preparing me for this in ways. In fact, one piece of foreshadowing I think of as foreshadowing anyway is that in the weeks leading up to my brother's death, I had this really strong feeling that I needed a separate altar in a separate room for the Holy Mother Mary, who I work with very closely. And I wanted that to complement the Hell altar being in here, as you can see behind me. I felt like I needed them to have separate places, separate rooms, totally their own separate energy and aura specific to the work I do with them as individual beings. And that actually ended up being incredibly necessary, because there is no way in my mind, at some of the lowest points that I've experienced during this, which have been some of the lowest points I've experienced in my life, there's no way that I would have had the mental strength and capability to understand that that was necessary in order to achieve maximum closeness with both of these beings after I lost Nick. So it had to happen before. It was like a sign from spirit, a sign from Mary herself. Hey, give me my own place. Put all of the sort of material association that you have with me, take it and put it elsewhere. Let me have my own space to be with you. Put the prayer cards somewhere else, put the rosaries somewhere else, take me away from the main altar and give me my own place. And I have prayed incessantly at that altar in my living room. I have gone there when I didn't know where the fuck else to go. And it's been great to have the Hell altar in here too, although Hell and I had a bumpy ride at the beginning with her being a death goddess and such. And I knew I would need her. I knew it would come later. I have my own individual relationships with both of these beings. Anyway, that has been incredibly useful to me. So useful. This dog outside has got a lot to say. He's got some real feelings, this dog. Oh, that reminds me, I've got a drink in my fox mug. Not that foxes are dogs. I think they're more. They seem more feline to me, but still. Don't come at me about whereabouts foxes are in the scheme of dogs and cats, my loves. They're foxes at the end of the day, but they've got the wiliness of cats, the mischief of cats. I have some friends who have been so fucking there for me. So there for me, and I'm so blessed and so fortunate for that. I also am my friend and have been my friend for a long time, and so I have been there for me. My brother's girlfriend has now become one of my closest and best friends through this experience, and we have been very there for each other. And as I mentioned, lots of you guys have said very beautiful, very consoling things to me and been very considerate of me, which I really appreciate. Clients that I had to ask to rearrange things because I needed time off, because I needed to plan for the memorial, etc., have been incredibly gracious about that. And so all of these things have helped. I'm also doing a lot of reading. Of course, typical me, immediately I start ordering books on the subject I most need to understand and learn about. So I ordered a big bunch of books about grief, and I will be making a book review at some point to try and impart to you guys everything that I have learned about reading about grief and what has helped. At the moment, I'm reading David Kessler's book, Finding Meaning, The Sixth Stage of Grief, which was recommended to me by my wonderful, wonderful therapist, who is a key part of my support system. And I'm also reading it to my mum. So I read it aloud and record it, and then I send each chapter to my mum as I read. So my mum and I are exploring that book together. And I think I can speak for both of us confidently when I say that it is so far so helpful. Really helpful. But yeah, I've got a stack of other books as well. I'm going to definitely read Joan Didion's Year of Magical Thinking. I'm going to read, there's other ones I'm going to read. A few books specifically about losing an adult sibling. Adult siblings and losing a sibling. I think that's really important, because I think that my mum and I empathizing with each other, or my brother's girlfriend and I empathizing with each other, that is so wonderful, so important, so necessary. It's been so meaningful to me. However, we are also all experiencing our separate griefs. Our grieving is not exactly the same, of course. The waves of grief are not the same. The feelings we have about what we have lost are not the same. So I felt like it was really important to get some books specifically about grieving a sibling, because I think that grief is also very specific. That grief is its own thing. A lot of my brother's friends can relate really intimately to what I'm feeling, because I was my brother's really close friend. And I thought of him as a sibling in so much as I was so fucking proud that he was my brother. But my brother and I both shared a very deep conviction that family is not just a few % matching DNA. Family is an attitude. Family is an energy. Family is a vibration. It is a fucking choice that you make. And I read about that as part of my tribute to him at the memorial. I acknowledged and honoured and witnessed the grief of his friends, because I was his friend too. And that was the more important thing for me and my brother. It wasn't that we were connected by blood. It was that we were friends. We chose each other. You don't have to choose your siblings. You don't have to choose anyone in your family. You can walk away. And I've made videos about that. I have made videos about boundaries, about family estrangement, about saying no to the idea that you have a duty to accept abuse or ill treatment just because you're related. And so to me, every member of my family that I talk to and that I pull close to me, I chose that. It's not an obligation, because I don't believe in family obligation. I don't believe in it. Not for me in my life. I'm not condemning anyone who does, but for me, it doesn't really hold much water in my paradigm. I'm not going to continue on a connection with someone just because we're family. And I'm not going to allow somebody to hold the familial nature of our connection to each other over me. So I chose my brother to be in my life. It was still a free choice. And I chose it over and over again. I fucking love the bones of him. And I always will. Everything good I do now in my life will be in honour of him. One of the only reasons I'm able to get up and do things every day, my loves, and carry on, is because of my brother. My brother taught me the most about post-traumatic growth of any human being I've ever met. He was dealt a very, very complicated set of cards in his life, and I'm not going to talk about what I mean by that because it's no one's business and I don't want to share that, but he had a very bumpy, undulating road to travel, and he accepted his challenges, his pain, his losses with such unbelievable grace and dignity and fucking conscientiousness. And he was training me the whole time to do the same thing now. He was my teacher, especially in the last few years of his life. Very, very potent man. He was a very potent man. And his memorial was fucking packed with people who felt the same. So it's partly him, his legacy, the conversations I had with him, the time I spent with him, that enables me to exhibit the strength I'm exhibiting now. And by strength, I don't mean bearing up, not crying, not showing emotion. Fuck that shit. My brother did not believe that was demonstrative of strength, and neither do I. I have cried, I have broken down, I have stayed in bed for days on end and cancelled my clients and sobbed into my pillow and got really fucking angry. I have done those things, and that is strong. That is all strong as well. Do not let anyone tell you any different, my loves. That's part of strength. Far too many people equate measured emotional response with strength, and it's not right. And I don't like it when people say things to me like, oh, if I was you, I wouldn't be able to even get up. I don't even know how you're doing it. It's, you know, if I was you, I still wouldn't be able to blah, blah, blah. Okay, one, that feels like you're diminishing my grief by implying that your grief would be more. Two, you do get up. You do carry on. Of course you do. Everyone does. I have met people in my profession who have been through war, who have been through assaults, who have had multiple losses of siblings. I have had the great fucking privilege of talking to people who have been through all kinds of mad fucking unjustifiable shit with a lot less privilege than I'm working with a lot less resources than I'm working with. You do get up and get on. It's what you do. So the implication that somehow you wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing is bullshit. But, you know, I have felt my feelings. I will feel my feelings. I don't think that's weak. That is strong. But you will not see me feel the majority of my feelings. I'm not going to be sharing very much about what I'm going through, at least not for a long time. Because that's best for me and that's safest and healthiest for me, you know? Okay. What else do I want to say? I'm still dealing with a lot of feelings of vulnerability. When something like this happens to you, you feel like a globule. You feel like a globule of like jelly, you know? When it first happened, I felt like I had no skin, no hair, no teeth, no bones, no muscle. And I would go to the shop to get food and I would feel like any minute now something could destroy me. A song could come on the radio in this shop and it will remind me of my brother and I'll break down. Someone could say something and it would be so agonizing, I'll just break the fuck down. I can't trust anyone or anything around me right now. I just need to be on my own, you know? I felt unbelievably vulnerable in the extreme. I felt so angry. So angry. Again, completely normal. And I know that. I think I've also felt let down, but I felt lifted up too. I felt all those things. I felt confused. I felt very fearful. I've been terrified of certain things. I've been terrified that I will now die before my mother and she doesn't need another one. Christ alive. Good goddess on toast. That would just be too much. I'm sure she's fearful of that too. And it's so unfair on my mother. She's had such a difficult life. She's had such a tough life. I've also felt some of the deepest gratitude I've ever felt for anything that I have that brings me any joy or solace. And I was already having kind of a relationship with gratitude before Nick died. Oh God, I hate saying that. I was already having a relationship with it before, which I spoke about in my video where I went to Walsingham and did my pilgrimage. And I'd spoken to my brother about it as well. But the gratitude is even more so now. So it's all mixed up together in a big bundle, you know? And I have marvelled at my strength. I have marvelled at my potency in this time. And I feel like my work has also evolved. Like it was an instantaneous level up. The empathy I can provide now is more than I ever would have imagined. So it's a lot of different things. It's a very, very weird, very, very complex journey. And I have felt very, at times, you know, what's even the word? I don't even know what the word is. But I have experienced, you know, some of the worst pain I've ever experienced in my life. the night that I came back from being at the memorial and being around everyone and honouring my brother's life in that very public, ritualistic fashion, to come back here to be alone. I have no partner at the moment, absolutely by choice. I have no desire for a partner, a romantic partner, but yeah, no partner, no pets. So to come and be here alone, just sobbing into my brother's clothes for hours, riding one of the worst waves of pain I've ever fucking felt. It's a lot, my loves. It's a lot. I felt pressure to talk about it on the channel or to be writing about it all the time, so people know that I am affected, and so people don't think I'm just cold for like carrying on business as usual. Even though that would be their judgment and it would be quite wrong. I get some of the deep joy of my life from making videos and playing with cards and, you know, just having genuine conversations with people about the deep shit. That's my life's work. That's what only thing I want to do, you know, for money and for my vocation. The writing as well, although I'm very happy to have stopped writing for a while now. The next book I'm working on, I can't do everything. I can't carry on full steam. But yeah, I felt this pressure, and it's not that any of you have put any pressure on me. You haven't. It's just something I felt. I felt this very worried sense of like, oh my God, I've just announced that my brother has died, and now, you know, I'm making videos about the ordinary shit that I make videos about. But the thing is, my channel was never intended to be like, you know, come with me as I make a video journal of everything I'm feeling in real time. That's never been the point of my work, my material that I put together. My channel is a very consciously curated thing where I talk about things that I feel will give empathy, solace, information, insight to others who may need it, either now or in the future. You know, it's not so that you can come with me into my bed and watch me screw my face up and cry my fucking eyes out and babble incoherently about this agony. But believe me, that's happening. I'm just not taking the camera in there with me. It's just not my style, you know. It's not how I do things. And I have like no issue with people that show that and take you on the journey with them. If that's helpful to them and if that's helpful to others, I think that's great. But it's very hard for me to deal with some of the things people say. So I'd rather people think I'm not going through anything than for me to expose myself to, you know, through showing what I'm going through, to expose myself to people who would say it's the most madcap shit that comes into their tiny craniums. Oh, Christ. This is the beginning for me. It's the beginning of a very, very long journey. It will be an arduous journey. It will be an inspiring journey. It will be all of those things. I will continue to feel my feelings and to go through what it is that I need to go through. Being creative will be part of it, and I will share some of that with you guys, and I will love to do that. I will love to share. You know, and I'm also going to protect myself and make sure that I share only what I feel is appropriate and safe to share. I want to thank you for sitting with me and listening to these thoughts. I don't think I can make the video any longer because I think I need a break even just from talking about this. I really just can't think of other things to say at present. All I want you to know is that I have people that are there for me. No one can ever replace what I've lost. I don't believe that I've lost my brother so something better can come. That's an absurd thing to say. You know, it's appropriate that I will grieve my brother and miss my brother for all time until I myself leave this earthly vessel. That's as it should be. And every day is, you know, painful. And I'm doing what I can to make sure that I remain stable. And anyone who pays attention to like my Instagram and my Facebook, you know, social media where I share other things I don't share in videos, you will know that I had just come out of 2 years of dealing with depression in my personal life. Again, at the same time working, producing things, because those things help me to be stable during a period of depression when I can do them, you know, when I'm capable of it. Of course I do it. Like that's part of what gives me the strength to continue on when I have depression. But I was coming out of a depressed episode. In fact, my brother was very worried about me. I was worried about some of the things I was dealing with in my personal life, and was worried about my mental health, you know, going through a tough patch. We spoke about that. I miss talking to him. You know, I still feel connected, and I know that connection is there, but it's not the same as talking to someone on the phone for an hour and feeling like gold dust at the end. Yeah, I know I don't share very intimately about my family, about you know, different members of my family that I'm close to, and I don't share intimately about my friendships, and I do not show you images of people I'm going out with. I don't post images on social media, you know, with my partners and stuff like that. I haven't even done a flat tour. People have asked me before, will you do a house tour? Will you show us all the different areas where you live? Because you film in a few different locations and it'd be really cool to just see the whole thing all together. And that's always been a flat out no from me. It's not what my channel is for. And it feels too intimate. You know, of course I am very intimate with a lot of the content that I make, but it always has to be for some reason. There has to be a reason for it. I have to feel like there's some meaning to why I'm doing it, and that I can identify that meaning, and it's not nebulous, you know, it's very clearly defined. And if I can't think of a clearly defined reason, then it won't go into my body of work. But just because I don't share, you know, the wonderful times I have with friends, the very tough moments that I have, the relationships, etc., it doesn't mean they're not there. And I did have a very close connection with my brother, and I am going through a really, really tough time right now, dealing with it, dealing with the loss. And thank you for just being awesome. The vast majority of you, like 98% of you, you've just been so fucking awesome. Thank you for the empathy. Thank you for being so fucking sweet. Just letting me know that you're thinking about me. It's so sweet that I would be on people's minds. It's just lovely. I really appreciate it. It's so nice. Thank you. Comments will be on approved only. So there'll be no, you know, if you leave me a comment under this video, I hugely appreciate it, but it will be vetted before it goes underneath. And I don't look at the comments. I have an assistant look at them and just make sure that nothing is fucked up. Unfortunately, that didn't happen with the community tab post, because I don't think you can put comments on approval when you post on your community tab. And somebody decided to be a fuckface, which is just, as I said, it's part of the territory. Usually I can cope with it and process it very quickly. In that situation that I told you at the beginning of this video, not so much, obviously, because of what I'm going through. It was kind of jarring. But that's why the comments are on approval. So please don't worry if your comment doesn't show up straight away. It will need to be vetted. Yeah, I will continue to gather together my lessons and my impressions, and continue doing my reading on bereavement. And I will come back to this subject when I feel like there is something of consequence that I want to say, and that I feel does have meaning beyond just being something that I would write in my journal. You know, that's always been kind of a rule of thumb for me with the content that I make, with the things I want to say online, is, you know, I look at something that I'm putting together and I think, is this actually a journal entry? Is this just a run event, something that you need to get out, but maybe not to camera for a video? You know, I ask myself that question, and that has been part of what's allowed me to curate my work as consciously as I have done, and I'll continue to do that. So when I have more to say on this, I will, you know, but thank you for keeping me in your thoughts. So much love to you all, especially those who've lost loved ones who have been affected by watching this. And I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay after watching this and it wasn't too horrible. And in fact, for those for whom this was horrible, I hope you're not watching this now, because I hope you already clicked off. It's all about self-care and self-preservation. Okay, this has been my update, my garbled, sometimes angry update, but you know what? I'm being real and I'm being raw, and I'm not going to apologise for that. And I appreciate all the empathy. Much love. Mwah.